What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Today on the table in front of us are not the knives, well, these are not the knives I'm going to talk about today, although I am going to use them as example. Recently, I was up in Carmel with Women Carry Knives. We were just out driving around and having a good time, and a friend of mine reminded me that there is a spectacular knife shop up there called Carmel Cutlery. It's run by Sanford Owen. Sanford Owen is half of Monterey Bay Knives. He works directly with Ray Laconico. They design stellar knives. In fact, the Drop Keen, the Mass Drop Keen, which is a big favorite of a lot of people, is a Laconico design. He has made a number of good knives for Kizer, which brings me to my point. I love these titanium sort of slab side Kizer knives. I love the way that they do the stonewashing on the blades. I love the way that the titanium feels in hand. I love the size of these things. This one, of course, is M390. This is the Mjolnir, this is the Roach, and this is the Sheepdog. These are three of my favorites. They are not my only Kizer knives like this, but they're the three that I grabbed for this. While I was there at Carmel Cutlery, I happened to come across the new Kizer Odin. Now, there are some reviews of that appearing already. People really like it, and I thought, great, I'm going to get my hands on it. I've been tracking it since they started talking about it before Blade East last year, excuse me, in June, and I thought, I'm going to get one. I promised myself that I was on a knife buying hiatus until Blade Show West, but coming across that, I was going to get it, and I got it in hand, and while I was holding the Odin playing with it, Sanford handed me this. This is the new edition of the Laconico Intrepid by Kizer. They have made some subtle changes to this. In fact, if you go online and look at the pictures on Blade HQ, you will look at a very different knife. And those differences changed the whole thing for me. So, see, I had this in their Vanguard series. It was G10 on steel liners. It was VG10. I loved the shape of it, but I just didn't love that knife very much. They have changed the blade shape and design. They have changed the pocket clip, and they've changed the pivot. Now, traditionally, until very recently, it came with the same sort of swirly Kizer pivot that you get on this knife. Now it comes with a blue anode pivot that you see here. The flats on this blade used to be considerably bigger and carry farther out to the edge of the blade. I think it was hollow ground. If not, it was just looked that way a little bit because it was a lot less of a high flat grind. But now, man, I'll tell you, this thing is really, really nice and thin behind the edge. You get a nice strong tip, although it is really stabby. This is a beautiful knife. And so it had to come home and become part of my titanium Kizer collection. So let's go ahead and clear these a little bit off the table so we get a little more room to work. This is a great knife. The handle to blade ratio on this is, at least for me, I think just about perfect. I mean, this is really very good. You get 1, 2, 3.5 inches of cutting area, you get 3 3/4 of blade, and you get 1, 2, 3, 4 inches of handle, right? It is almost a 50-50 split. It really is very good in that regard. I like a knife where the blade and the handle are obviously of one thing. A lot of knives, particularly Spydercos, have got a ton of handle and not a lot of blade. This is the other direction from that, and I love this thing to pieces. Now, it used to have a clip sort of like this one. It was just a bent piece of titanium, and that was fine. It worked. But this new milled clip, which is in design much more similar to the Sheepdog, although it is a lot smaller, the ramp, the spring, the distance from the knife to the clip is perfect. This thing slips in and out of good heavy jeans like nobody's business. This is a great carry. As you can see, it says Laconico right here on the flat above the, excuse me, where the blade starts. The way this thing is shaped means that it fits into the hand so well. The thumb ramp is perfect for push. There is no rock at all. This thing locks into my hand like it was built for it. You get a ton of wonderful belly and a nice flat area so you can do all forms of cutting. It's got a nice tip on it if you want to use it for fine work. It is lightweight. It is running on ceramic bearings. Look, it's got this beautiful blue titanium backspacer. All of the hardware is blue. God, this thing is beautiful. It really is. And of course, it just fits in so well with sort of the way that I like my knives, you know? The little pop of color is actually a really nice addition. As you can see on the Sheepdog, it's got a blue pivot collar. I love this thing. I really do. I love it so much that I put the Odin down and I picked this up and brought it home. I think if you got your hands on one and these other knives that I have up on the table seem to be your style, you would probably bring one home too. Let's take a look at it in comparison to our old friend, the Rat Model 1. If we line the blades up on this line, you will see that the Rat is longer, but the Rat blade is considerably shorter. You get a lot more blade on the Intrepid than you do here. And that is meaningful to me. It is, of course, Kizer's S35VN. I think I mentioned that already. They do a stellar job with their S35VN. Let's take a look at it in comparison to the Rat Model 2. Just for giggles, as you can see, it is a considerably larger knife. This is a great knife. I'm really happy to have it as part of the collection. I really am. Look, if you guys are out, really, if you're out in Carmel, California, and you were looking for a good knife shop, Carmel Cutlery is the place to go. Sanford will do right by you. He is a super nice guy. Again, the knife collection and selection that they have there are astonishing. It really is a candy store for knife nuts. It really is. For now, I am really excited to have added this to the collection. I am really happy to have made friends with Sanford Owen. He is a super nice guy. I am looking forward to seeing him at Blade Show West, if not before. It turns out that having something like that nearby, now, you know, Carmel's an hour and a half or a couple hours away from me, no question, but it is worth the drive for the selection of knives that they have. Of that, there is no doubt. My point, if you are looking for good knives and you live in California, swing on by Carmel Cutlery. Say hi to Sanford for me. He is a super great guy. If you are looking for an excellent Kizer in titanium and S35VN, the Laconico designed Intrepid will not do you wrong. I love this thing. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Please feel free to like and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, do so. I share my weird selection of knives all the time. I'd love to share them with you. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. It does mean the world to me. We'll see you next time.